another video. Listen up, you all. Before we get started, I want to thank everybody who showed up here on the live stream. I want to thank everybody who have donated either to the super chat and or the super thanks. And if you really want to help the channel out, we need to do this live stream a different way. But I need to up my internet. So if you want to support the channel, you want to help me to get there, that would be greatly appreciated, but not necessary. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's get started. Now, I've had some people ask me about was the Cadillac Lyriq going to get the rebate. Hold on 1 second, guys. Yeah, cut this fan off so you guys can hear me. And so I decided to go ahead and do this live stream today and not tomorrow. Okay, so of course the Senate passed the bill, you guys, and they were in session for 14 hours on August 7th. Now, also here, uh, it says that there's the bill that was passed was written has 755 pages, which is massive, right? It's a huge bill. So a lot of the information, if you got any of the information about the EV tax credit, not the infrastructure, not everything else that's in this bill, but about the EV tax credit that, you know, those videos that went out before and the internet information that was put out as well, it's still the same, right? We're going to go over those real quick before we talk about whether the Cadillac Lyriq is going to be eligible for the tax credit, whether it be half or whether it be a full credit, okay? So first off, they got some requirements in here, right? That I got to say that a lot of the manufacturers, I want to say it was probably GM, it was probably Jeep, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Tesla, I believe all these manufacturers were trying to get with, of course, the Senate to try to get them to revise the bill because at this point, there are a lot of cars that are not going to qualify for the EV tax credit as we see and hear it right now with the language that's being put in this bill. All right, so this affects a lot of manufacturers. A lot of them are not happy. You have some companies like Hyundai that they're going to start to build a company for their cars in the United States, but they don't have one right now. But they are. But a lot of them were definitely upset. A lot of these companies are going to be affected by this bill and them not being able to qualify to be able to get the EV tax credit to draw consumers to buy their products. Okay, so in the beginning, they talked about like you have to be able to make not over 150,000 or 75,000, I believe, for a single 150,000. Hold on, individuals can't make over 150,000. Jointly is 300,000, and then 200,000 for filing head of household. Right? I didn't know that would be a requirement, but that means that people like myself, you know, middle class people, people who make lower income, will be able to qualify up under this particular requirement, right? And then, of course, the car that you buy has to be under $55,000, which I think is crazy. And we're talking about sedans. So the average sedan is going to be anywhere between 40, and we're talking about at least what? I'm going to say 70,000. I think it should have been capped at 70,000 and not 55,000. And for SUVs, we're talking about 80,000. Now, a lot of your SUVs go up to at least 100 to 120,000. That's what it should have been, right? But that's not what it is. So a lot of these cars are not going to qualify. I mean, of course, GM have cars that's going to be in the $30,000 range and also the $40,000 range as well. When we talk about the GM products like the Equinox and also the Chevy Blazer that's supposed to be coming soon as well. So I don't know how that's going to work for a lot of people and the cars that they're looking at that they want to buy, but this kind of closes the window on what cars you're going to be able to buy. Now, also, they're talking about giving $4,000 on a used EV. Now, let's talk about that for a second, right? So, what used EV are you going to be able to buy, right? That's under $25,000, right? The EVs are already starting at 40 and up. So on a used level, how much is that EV going to be worth? I'm thinking it's still going to be worth in the $30,000 range. It depends on how many years is the car. 5 years old, 10 years old. Thought that was crazy, right? I think it should have been brought up to at least 38,000, at least 38,000 to be able to qualify. So a lot of these people aren't going to be able to qualify for the new EVs, but we're talking about that the government is talking about pushing EVs, but how do they push EVs when they have these caps so low for the qualification? And that's not it, because there's a lot more hoops that you have to jump through in order to qualify. So the manufacturers have to qualify as well, right? So we're about to go into that right now. But let's go and see the questions that we have in the chat, because maybe we got some updated information from the people who've been keeping up with the news as well. Donnie says, I'm sure Cadillac will be eligible since they are an American company. The 200,000 sales of the EV cars limits are no longer, yes, the cap is gone, right? But I also want to let you know the $7,500 tax credit that you get right now is still in effect. They have not canceled that. So if you're thinking about getting an EV, you'll still be able to use that tax credit, which takes taxes off what you owe. If I'm not mistaken, what you owe on your taxes for next year. Now, I don't know when that's going to end, if it's going to end when they sign the new bill. I doubt it, because what I'm understanding is that the government and also these manufacturers that's going to be eligible for this tax credit to be able to receive it, then they're going to have to come together to figure out how they're going to do it, how they're going to keep up with the VIN numbers of people only being able to take advantage of the tax credit one time. You can only buy an EV with the tax credit only one time. So I don't know if it's a household or if it's an individual. A lot of that information is going to come second. But also, let's go into this real quick, right? So for the manufacturers, right, they will have to, in the beginning of 2023, 40% of battery minerals must be sourced from the US or countries we have free trades with. And so the requirement increases by 10%. So by 2028, right, 80% of the material that's being used to make batteries have to be made in the US. So every year it goes up. Okay, and so the beginning of 2023, 50% of battery components must be sourced from the US or countries we have free trade with. The requirements increase 10% as well, just like the minerals. And so with that being said, half the credit is going to be 3,750 for that one, and also 3,750 for the minerals as well, right? Not to mention that the car has to be built in North America. So we're talking about the US, we're talking about Canada, and we're talking about Mexico as well. Now, I left a link to the source down below, and this source is definitely recommended, reliable. And so I believe this, right? So hold on, let me keep going. They're saying as soon as the bill is signed, then of course, you know, it has to go through Congress. It's passed the Senate. It's got to go through Congress, and it also has to get signed by the president. And so after that gets signed, then we're talking about how is the U.S. Treasury going to go about dishing out this money for whoever's eligible to get this tax credit. With the, of course, the manufacturers and also the people, the consumers who are buying these cars as well. So I don't think that this tax credit, right, and this is just my belief as of right now, is going to take effect right away. So for those of us like myself who are going to be probably getting the Cadillac Lyriq next year, may not get that tax credit, right? Now, I don't know if it's going to get retroactive. I don't know how long it's going to take for the manufacturers and, of course, the U.S. Treasury to come about to figure out how they're going to be able to hash this out, to how they're going to keep track of, you know, the cars that have gotten this credit with the VIN numbers, with the manufacturers and the customers who bought the cars as well. So we don't know how that's going to be. I'm quite sure a lot of that information is going to come out after the president signs the bill. We should look for more information. Now, there are a lot of cars that do not qualify, and I got a whole list here, and I'm going to go through the list. So therefore, just in case you're looking to buy these cars, these are going to be the cars that they're talking about will not qualify for the tax credit. And that's going to be whether they have their batteries built overseas. I looked and I found out that Cadillac has the Ultium battery being built overseas as well. So that's a concern for me so far as how much of a tax break we will get, if we will get any at all. So what I'm being told is that Audi, the e-tron variants will not get it. BMW i4 and iX, Fisker, Ocean will not get one. Of course, they got a hold on their cars because of issues that they're going through. And then, of course, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the GV60, the Hyundai Kona, the EV Nitro Electric, Jaguar I-Pace, Kia EV6, Lexus RZ, Lucid Air, and of course, the Lucid Air is super, super expensive. So we know that they're not going to get it. But a lot of these companies I mentioned are building their cars overseas. Polestar EV, Rivian is definitely one of the cars that's expensive, and their parts are being built overseas as well. We got Subaru, Sotera, Tesla Model 3, Tesla Model S, and Model X. Doesn't say anything about the Model Y. All right. So if you're thinking about getting a Model Y, because I think they have a company, a manufacturing company that's building the Model Y here. I don't know where. I'm thinking it's in California, if I'm not mistaken. Toyota BZ4X, Volvo C40, and the XC40 Recharge as well. All right. So all those cars will not be eligible for the EV tax credit at all, is what they're saying. Now, again, this could get revised so far as the bill is concerned, because I don't think the manufacturers are through trying to get through to the government about revising this. So therefore, a lot of these companies will be able to qualify, and therefore the push that should be pushed toward EVs will happen. Okay, now let's take a look at the cars that are most likely, it is not saying that they are totally, but most likely. All right, I got my water. You hear my voice is dry. Bear with me, right? Okay, let's get this light going. Sorry about that, you guys. Now, the top of the list is the Cadillac Lyriq, right? Now, from my understanding, the Cadillac Lyriq, of course, we know that they're building the Cadillac Lyriq here, here in the United States, in Tennessee. Spring Hill, Tennessee is where they're building it at. I know that. Now, I had concerns before the bill got signed whether the Cadillac Lyriq was going to qualify, because I could use that 7,500 to bring down the price of course, the payment that I'm going to be paying on my car. So the Cadillac Lyriq battery is being built in Korea, right? The Ultium battery, right? Now, in between the bill getting passed and me seeking out information so far as where this battery was built, what I found out was is that Cadillac has got a loan from the government. I think it's 2.5 or 2.8 billion dollars to start building manufacturing companies to build the batteries here in the US. And that makes sense, right? And so I'm like, until then, do they qualify for half the tax credit, or will they qualify for all of it? I'm not sure. Now, here's the thing. Now, there's other manufacturers that are talking about building companies in the U.S., not just to simply be able to qualify for the tax credit, but of course they are building. Now, how long does it take to build a company? So we're talking about these tax credits for a lot of the companies right now that don't qualify. It's going to take anywhere between, I want to say 2, 3, maybe 4 years in order to build a manufacturing company, to be ready to make these parts and components, the minerals and everything needed to make the battery here in the US. So that means for a lot of the companies, there's going to be a 2 to 4 year span where those companies or manufacturers will not be able to partake in the benefit of the tax credit that's being offered. Now, the great thing about the tax credit is not going to be offered at the end on your income tax. This is at the beginning. So when you go to the point of sale, you at the point of sale and you're going to pay for this car, it's going to be taken off the top, which I thought was awesome. That's going to benefit me. I don't pay enough in taxes to be able to take full advantage of that. So with that being said, that's where the Cadillac Lyriq is at. Now, they're speculating that Cadillac they may get half the money because of maybe most of the minerals, maybe a lot of battery components are being made here in the US. I am not absolutely sure. Let me raise this up. And I'm not absolutely sure. So I'm not completely understanding how this is going to work so far as this tax credit for the Cadillac Lyriq is concerned. All right, but we still got to wait for the president to sign this bill after Congress pass it, and I'm about 100% positive that Congress will pass this. This is one of the bills that they wanted. The bill is not as big as they wanted it. I think it was only 400 and something billion that was offered. And so here are the other cars that's going to qualify. Again, mostly GM. So the Chevy Bolt, the Chevrolet Blazer EV, the Chevy Equinox, the Chevy Silverado. They also talked about the Honda Prologue, which GM is going to be building that car or for Honda. And then, of course, the Nissan Leaf. The Tesla Model Y is on the list to be able to get the tax credit. Now, I don't know where Tesla is having their batteries built, or if they have 40% of the minerals and the parts needed to make the batteries here. I'm not sure. I tried to look up that information as well. I didn't get a lot of that offline, off the internet. But also Volkswagen ID4 may qualify as well. Now it says these vehicles have a chance, but more uncertainty remains, and that's the Ford Mustang Mach E and the Ford F-150 Lightning. Now, from what I'm understanding, from what I've read online, is Ford had made a deal overseas. I forget the company, that they made a deal with to build their batteries for the F-150. If I'm not mistaken, they're in the process of signing now. I'm almost positive they're sick about it because this tax credit is definitely going to drive revenue, simply because now you get a lot taken off of the price of the car, which means that your car payment goes lower as well, which is awesome, right? So you may be paying, let's say 800. Now you're probably down to probably 550, 600, something like that. So nothing's written in stone so far as the Cadillac Lyriq is concerned. My belief is that Cadillac would not qualify for the full benefit of the EV tax credit. Now, the EV tax credit that they're offering the government is $7,500. Again, it's nice that it's coming off the top, you guys. But what information you got? We're going to go to the chat right now. Um, and we got On Point Review says this tax credit thing is crazy. It's stupid. It's stupid. And I say it's stupid simply because you want to push EVs, right? You want to get away from fossil fuel and the pollution and everything like that. But with these revisions that you have in this bill, this is absolutely nuts. Now the qualifications so far as how much you should make in your household, fine. A lot of people qualify for that. That's cool. But the price of the car so far, the MSRP that the car must be at, the 55,000 and the 80,000, I think that's crazy. I think they both should be higher. I hope that these manufacturing companies don't let up on the government and they can get to a place of revising it to where not only the manufacturers benefits, but also the consumers benefit, because when the consumers get hurt, we get hurt as well. And I don't think it's going to stop the consumers from price gouging as well. I think that's still going to take place in spite of course, this $7,500 rebate that's in play. The other thing is, so now we're going to pay the price for the car. The price for the car is what it's going to be, along with the add-ons that people are charging you, and also some places are charging you $50,000 for a $50,000 car over MSRP. That's going to continue. You need to know that the price of used cars are going down. I hear it's going down drastically. Now, my Cadillac CT6 was worth up to 86 to 8 to no, my Cadillac CT6 was worth 47 to $48,000, right? Depending on what model it was, depending on the condition of the car. I was slated in the beginning, when this first took off, to be able to get at least $45,000 for the Cadillac CT6. I'm down from 45,000 all the way down to, I believe, 37,000 the last time I looked last week. So if you're looking to get a used car, you may be in good shape. I don't know where the dealers are going to be. A lot of them are so used to stacking prices on top of the MSRP that a lot of these places, a lot of these dealerships may not change at all so far as how they perform and do business with the consumers who are buying cars. Me personally, I'm not paying over MSRP at all. And we got Donnie. Donnie Park says, I agree. My daughter just purchased a BMW i4 and it was over 60,000. She would be under the current tax incentives, but would not, but would be, but would not be if she purchased it January 1st. Yes. Yes. So the people who can afford it to buy the car and then get the tax credit at the end of the year or when you file your taxes, you're going to be eligible. I just don't know the date of when this ends. Again, I don't know if it ends when the bill gets signed or if it ends at the end of 2022. But I will keep you guys updated. Donnie Park says again, what is your understanding regarding units of the Lyriq purchase and delivery in 2023? Well, here's the crazy part, right? Because I was still considering, regardless of the EV tax credit, there's some things I'm looking for that's going to be offered on the 2024 model. Now, they're saying on their website, when you go to order the 2024 Cadillac Lyriq, that delivery, right? Delivery, they don't say which car, whether it's the all-wheel drive or the rear-wheel drive, will be delivered in the spring, if I'm not mistaken, in the spring of 2023. Well, if things are being pushed back because of the chip shortage, when is the all-wheel drive going to be delivered? Because right now there are a couple of people that I've seen in the Facebook group that have received their Cadillac Lyriq debut edition. But I don't know anything about the lyrics, the rear-wheel drive that were ordered back in May. The all-wheel drive they were talking about at the beginning of the year. I'm thinking we're not going to get that at the beginning of the year. I think it's going to happen more so toward the spring. So I'm thinking the 2023, uh, what we believe to be the 2023 is probably going to be the 2024 model of the Cadillac Lyriq. That's what I think is going to happen because it's going so far back because the two are going to meet up if we're talking about the 2023 being delivered in the spring and the 2024 being delivered at the same time. My belief again is that it's going to end up being the 2024 model of the Cadillac Lyriq. You're just not going to probably have that option to be able to get the 22-inch wheels and some other things that they supposedly are going to change with the Cadillac Lyriq or offer on the Cadillac Lyriq 2024 model. Again, Donnie Park says, have you seen the most recent email from Fisker that they are saying the car was designed in California and built in Australia? No, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that at all. One point review says, which means battery won't qualify at all. Which means, yeah, definitely, definitely, right? It's got to be built in North America, right? This is what our government is saying. DRP says my Cadillac dealer told me that GM will force buyers to pay upfront fee of 11500 for 3 years. For okay. So for the Lyriq, DRP for the Lyriq. Now I've heard it for what was it? If I'm not mistaken, it was GMC and Buick cars, right? I can't say the word, so don't hang me, right? And I didn't hear anything about the Cadillac Lyriq. I was hoping that they wouldn't do this with the Cadillac Lyriq. So now I'm about to go on and I'm going to find that information because again, that's another review that we need to talk about. Uh, but with that one, if they do that one, there's nothing that we're going to be able to do. That's going to be tacked into the MSRP. That's not going to be able to be taken away or anything. So they're forcing things on us, which really makes me want to keep the car that I have. The only reason that I'm really getting the Cadillac Lyriq is because I love luxury, right? I love an upgrade. I love the look of the Cadillac Lyriq. I love what Cadillac brought to the table, but not to the point where I'm not going to be carpool, but it's just so much money being poured out into these cars and we're being forced to do some things that we don't want to do. I don't need OnStar. I don't want OnStar. I think OnStar to a degree is a waste. I don't feel like it's like a condom. I rather have it uh, and need it than to not have it and need it. I don't feel like that with that. I don't even use OnStar at all. Now I know they give you information so far as navigation, if you're in an accident, but I have yet to have a need for OnStar. But yes, 1500. I didn't hear anything about the Cadillac Lyriq, but if that's true, then that's going to jack up the price a little bit more, which means that we're going to be out of pocket a little bit more for this Cadillac Lyriq. Remember, they marked the car up $3,000 after they had been advertising that the car was going to be uh, under $60,000 for the rear wheel drive, right? And then they say, well, we want to be compatible with Tesla, and then they raise it up 3,000, only to raise it back down 3,000 for the rear wheel drive Cadillac Lyriq, right? I don't know if you know or not, but the 2024 model of the Cadillac Lyriq, I got it confirmed not only on the internet. I've also called Cadillac Concierge. They confirmed it, and it's on Cadillac's website. But the all-wheel drive, which is crazy, I just don't understand Cadillac's logic for how they're thinking and why they do the things they do. Because I got experience with some of the cars that they built, like the XT5, the XT6, the CT5, the CT4. Some of the things that they did with the cars and some of the things that they took away that's on the Cadillac Lyriq, there should be signature features on all their cars to help them to sell more, right? To attract more buyers to their brand, but they won't do that. So with this, right, only $1,000 is being taken off the all-wheel drive, but 3,000 is being taken off for the rear-wheel drive. For the life of me, I don't get it. That's just like, okay, on the rear-wheel drive, you got the feature, right, which you can hands-free kick to open up. I use mine all the time on the Cadillac ET6. I use it all the time, right? You got the lighted door seals on the rear-wheel drive. Doesn't make any sense to me, right? Why can't we get that on all-wheel drive? And then, of course, the 22-inch rims are offered on the rear wheel drive, but they're not being offered on the all wheel drive. That just doesn't make sense to me. Now, if there's anybody who can explain that to me, I'm open minded. I promise you, I will listen. I would try to see the logic in it. But for right now, I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. And I don't want to hear anything about pricing. All right, let's go to uh Jay Home. I don't want to butcher your name, but I'm gonna call you 202. For From what I read, the point of sale will not be until 2024 if you buy the 2023 Lyriq. I'm guessing any car, right? It will be a tax rebate. Yes, you're right. It gives them a year to set up the system. Yep, exactly. That's the point I was trying to get across from the information that I was given earlier today, which means that I won't qualify for it, right? And again, I don't know if it's going to be retroactive and you'll get it later once it becomes active. I am not sure how they're going to do that, but we will find out all that information after the president signs this bill and then the U.S. Treasury figures out how they're going to, divvy this up. I'm not sure how it's going to happen. Um, Donnie Park said Fisker is asking people to make a firm purchase commitment. There's 7,500 to be purchased as a non-refundable deposit for a committed order. Well, first of all, Fisker is in some kind of trouble with their EVs, so I wouldn't even be thinking about buying a Fisker right now, in my opinion. So yes, so that's it, you all, for the EV tax credit. I just don't understand why they've written it out like this, and they're trying to push the EVs. Like, okay, so all those cars that I pushed out before, right? The final assembly, like for the Audi, BMW, Fisker, final assembly is overseas, right? So therefore, they probably won't qualify. So I'm quite sure the battery is not being built here as well. Same thing for the Ioniq 5. But the thing about Hyundai is talking about building a plant here in the U.S. They had already been talking about it before the tax credit came about. Jaguar, same place, is being built overseas. Lexus built overseas. Lucid Air, too expensive, right? And their batteries are probably built overseas as well. So a lot of these companies, manufacturers are having their cars built overseas pretty much because it's cheaper to do. But of course, the U.S. and I understand why the U.S. did it, right? I understand why they're making these provisions so far as the minerals and the parts for the batteries to be uh, done here is to bring jobs here. They're trying to bring it to a place of not being dependent on China or any other country so far as what we need in the U.S. And of course, yes, it's going to create jobs as well. A lot of jobs, right? Because now, remember, I told you Cadillac got a loan somehow, right, from the U.S. government. Remember, Cadillac got bailed out before, but they got $2.5 billion to build manufacturing companies in the United States. And again, that's going to take anywhere between 2, 3 to 4 years before that actually happens. Same thing with some of these companies that's going to be making their chip companies in the US as well. Cadillac is talking about doing that as well. Tesla, I don't know if they started that. My understanding is Tesla is making their own chips. That's why they don't have such a big issue with producing cars compared to like a lot of these other manufacturers, like of course Ford. But yeah, the building of these manufacturers is what's going to take time. So this tax credit, we might have to wait on the next vehicle we get. So for me, I don't know about you guys, I'm leasing. I'm going to lease if I can. To buy, it's just going to pull a lot of money out of my pocket. My YouTube channel isn't blowing up like that. You know, I don't get the donations like a lot of other YouTubers do. So do I have the money? Yes. Do I want to put that kind of money down? No, because of course, you know, life shows up and things happen. Another thing is that I don't believe in, disposable money where, I got money to throw away. Kind of like a lot of the people who've been paying over MSRP. Some people pay 50,000, some people pay 20,000, some 10, some three, right? So now that the market is going down, we're talking about the cars are depreciating as they should now, right? So these cars that's coming off the lot or have went off the lot, right? For those people who have paid 12,000, 30,000 are going to feel the heat when they decide to turn them in, right? Or whether it be the cars that you're financing that you're buying out. And so it depreciates. For those of us who are going to be leasing, we just bring the car right back. We if we want to buy it out, we can buy it out. But yeah, they're going to take a hit. That means that they're going to be underwater so far as what they owe for that car, and it doesn't weigh out. I don't think it was worth it. That's not something that I would ever do. So far as paying over MSRP, I don't care if it's $2,000. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think that these manufacturers should be taking advantage of the consumers the way they are. Now I understand that they're in the business of making money, but even with the EVs, right? I don't know if any of you all know, a lot of you all probably do know that the EVs are expensive, right? Compared to a lot of nice cars that's out there that you can get for uh, 25,000, 38,000, 35,000. Uh, these EVs are starting at $40,000. Now, GM, yeah, they're coming out with one that's supposedly going to cost in the 30s, but we don't know where. It could be 35, it could be 38. But right now, no, the 40,000 and up, right? 45,000 for a decent car, right? And you got to look at what is the range on this car as well, because range is going to depend somewhat of what the price is going to be also. So I don't know. I think that the idea of this tax credit is going to help a lot to bring down the car payment that you're going to be paying for this car when you buy an EV, like the Cadillac Lyriq is starting at 63,000 right now for the 2023 model, and it goes all the way up to 65,000. Well, you got some other EVs that cost more, right? Like of course, Lucid Air is like 150 plus. So it depends on what model you get. You talk about Tesla Model X, Model Y, 100,000 you can spend as much on. So these EVs are not cheap by a long shot. So that's it, you all. I don't know what you guys are going to do, but I wouldn't look for the tax credit. So, one point on point view says, this tax credit is crazy. Yeah, we did that one already. On point review says government don't know about cars and didn't get any expert opinion. I don't think they cared. I don't think they cared at all. I think that they wanted to make a name for themselves so far as Democrats are concerned with putting out the bill, saying, hey, the Democrats did something. That's what I think is more so about. I don't think they really care about pushing EVs. First of all, Joe Manchin and Sinema did not want to pass this bill in the first place. So um, on point view says this non-qualified list will hurt. It's going to hurt a lot of people, especially Honda and Kia. But here's the thing about Honda and Kia: they're not stopping. If you look on the road right now, all you see is Hyundai products on the roads. I'm not talking about the EVs. I don't see a lot of their EVs, but I'm talking about their cars, period. The Tucson, all their cars, the Palisade. You even talking about uh the Telluride is another one, right? That's out there. They're doing their thing. They are getting paid and they're producing nice cars. I got to be honest, they're nice cars. Some of them are out there so far as the boldness of the design is concerned, but they're doing it and people are buying in spite of. So before this tax credit came, I don't think it's going to hurt them. I don't think it's going to hurt Hyundai at all. Look on the road right now. Tell me what car you see the most. It's going to be Hyundai products. I guarantee you. Now you see the XT5. I see a lot of XT5s out there. I barely see my CT6. I barely see an XTS. You see Cadillac XT5 everywhere. I'm starting to see a little bit of the XT6, but not a lot. But Hyundai products, you see everywhere, everywhere. DRP says, my Cadillac dealer told me that GM will force. Oh yeah, we did that. That went all the way up. Donnie Park says, can you give any information on how many lyrics on the pipeline? Is Cadillac still planning to build 25,000 units? That's what they said. I think it's up to. So I don't know how many they're going to be able to build. I don't know how many orders were put in. They are not releasing that information at all. At all. Are you trading a car under your lease purchase? Uh, Yes, yes. I'm going to be trading in the Cadillac CT6. I don't want to. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to. And the only reason I'm considering it and really, put thought into it is because of my back. There's an easy transition getting into an SUV than it is getting into my Cadillac CT6 because of how low it sits. And so a lot of times I feel myself pulling my body out of the car, uh, even when it's even. When it's tilted slightly, it's even worse to get out the car, especially when I've been sitting down for a while. So this is why I've been considering or been wanting to get into an SUV. I wish I had the money to be able to keep the Cadillac CT6 and then also be able to buy another car, but I'm not in that position. I drive around in my car now. I've been trying to get this video done. I had a lot of the videos put together, but it didn't turn out right. So I have to redo the video again. But I'm still in love with the Cadillac CT6. I'm talking about from looking at the exterior when I walk up on this car, looking at the front fascia. Also, when I'm on the inside of the cabin, I still feel the nice ambiance. I still feel like a boss inside of it when I'm driving. I still get that deep lean when I'm in it every single day. So I'm still in love with my car. Matter of fact, I fell in love with it over again about a couple of weeks ago. It's something about the Cadillac CT6 that Cadillac did that really made this car stand out. Cadillac was on their way, but then Cadillac decided to go in another direction and create two other smaller cars, right? That people are liking. I think they were going more so toward performance, and also they were trying to hit the three-row SUV market as well. So they were trying to tap into many different things, along with the fact that they were building an EV car that nobody really knew that was taking place until they delivered that information and started to put it online that they have a Cadillac Lyriq coming out. That's an EV car. That's an EV. So yes, I'm going to trade it in. It's going to hurt, but hopefully it helps minimize the damage so far as the financial part of it is concerned for what I have to put down. So I'm buying the car out. Of course, I'm making payments on the car. I have a down payment as well that I have in mind that I want to put down on the car, and I also have a price uh, point that I want my lease payment to be at. And that's where it's at right now, around $500. Now, the highest I'm going to go is probably 550. 600 is out there. So I may have to keep the Cadillac CT6 because I'm not going to be uh, car poor. I'm not going to be car poor. But yes, you all, that's going to be it for this live stream. Um, for people who are watching this on the replay, if you have any information about this EV tax credit that has come about, listen, hit us in the chat, hit us in the comment section down below. Let us know what you have found out so we all can know what to expect. But for right now, I don't think the Lyric is going to get it. I don't think so. And if it does, I think it's only going to qualify for 3750, which is half of 7,500. So I don't know. And when we're going to get it, like my man said, probably in 2024. And again, that's about a year and a half, almost a year and a half away. So we still have a wait this, that we have to deal with. By that time, if I'm leasing the car, I'm only a year in. The cars aren't appreciating like they were. They're depreciating now. And so it's not going to be worth it to try to trade a used car in and lose money on top of it to get a newer car to be able to get the tax credit. So we don't know how that's going to take place. All right, you all, listen, I appreciate everybody. If you donated to the channel to help me get the internet service that I need to do a more robust live stream, to be able to bring you guys into the live stream, also to be able to bring up videos and photos of what I'm talking about during the live stream. That would be greatly appreciated. But for right now, I just appreciate you guys being subscribers, being supportive of the channel, not just of the live stream, and I appreciate that. All right, you guys, when I get more information on this EV tax credit and or on the Cadillac Lyriq, I will hit you back with another video. All right, with that being said, that's going to be the end of this live stream. You guys have a nice evening. Be safe out there. Have some fun. Enjoy life. And I'll see you all at the next one. Take care.